Hello, and welcome back to the original Larry D's Food for Thought. Today we will be, as usual, reading out of that old King James Bible. We'll be reading from the Old Testament and out of the New Testament to the law and to the testimony. Precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Okay. Also be going over a few scriptures today concerning the title. The end of all wars at the coming of the Lord. The end of all wars at the coming of the Lord. Okay. I'm gonna share these scriptures with you right quick. You can jot them down if you like. But yeah, people, I'm gonna tell you something. The Lord got some stuff coming up on this earth, man, and just prior to his coming. Talking about that 3.5 years of great tribulation. That's gonna be just prior to the Lord coming. But when he come, now that cat, he gonna allow that man to wreak some havoc upon this earth. But when the Lord come and he fight that war of Armageddon, let me tell you something. That's gonna be the end of it. Ain't gonna be no more warring. All right. So when the Lord come, that's gonna end all wars. He gonna end it because it's gonna be his fight, okay? And he gonna win. All right. But he gonna bring some stuff upon the heads of these men, these nations, and but I'm gonna tell you something, man. And a lot of people ain't ready for this. They think the Lord coming back here gonna be rubbing somebody on the back or patting them on the shoulder or whatnot. Come on, come on, do what I say. It ain't gonna work that way. No, no. Lord coming back banging some heads. And I'm talking some serious heads. We're gonna show you that. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing these. We're gonna go ahead and go over these scriptures, see if you can get a little understanding on it. Cause I'm gonna tell you something. After we go through these scriptures right here, man, I'm hoping that's gonna give you some encouragement to want to get on the good side of the Lord and stay there until the Lord come. Okay? But let me stop sharing these. We're gonna go ahead and get started with these scriptures right quick here. Cause I'm gonna tell you something, man. This God, this Bible boy, he don't play. We read this stuff. We scriptures we gonna read today, man. Tell you something, you can find out. This God ain't nobody to be playing around with. Okay, but we're gonna start this in Isaiah, Isaiah the 66th chapter, and I'm gonna start reading at verse 15, and it reads, "Look." For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. You think the Lord ain't sitting in heaven peeved at this man? All this sinning going on down here. Look, I'm gonna put a stop to it. Let me tell you something. Oh, and the Lord, he is sitting there in heaven. He is mad. Okay. And he gonna wreak some havoc upon his earth. Verse 16, look, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. See that? Told you ain't coming back here patting nobody on the back. He coming down here doing some killing, man. He said the slain of the Lord is gonna be many. Look here, verse 17. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the garden behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh. We know what swine flesh is, won't we? Oh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. You see that? Let me tell you something, man. These people don't understand. I told you I did something here a few weeks ago. I think it was on that dietary law. Some people was kicking against them. You kick all you want. But this right here is future. You still eating that unclean stuff when the Lord come, he gonna get you. Okay, he gonna get you. Look, verse 18. For I know thy works and thy thoughts. Lord know what you thinking too. Look right into that big brain of yours, all right? It shall come that I will gather all nations, tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. Okay. Yeah, you gonna see the Lord's glory, what he gonna do when he come. All right. But let's go on. Let's go over here to Zechariah right quick. Let's go to Zechariah 14. Now I'm gonna start reading at verse 1. And it reads, look, behold, the day of the Lord cometh. Okay, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee, for I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. You think the Lord ain't coming back here doing some fighting? Let's look at this. And the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Verse 3. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight. See that? and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle. Okay, verse 4. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof towards the east and towards the west. And there shall be a very great valley. And half of the mountain shall remove towards the north, and half of it towards the south. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azel. Yeah, ye shall flee, like as ye fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. And the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee. Where did he get them saints from? Those are the ones that were so blessed to meet him in the air, okay, at the first resurrection. All right, they will come back and help him fight that war of Armageddon, okay? But let's go a little bit further. Let's go over here to Revelation right quick. Nobody likes to go to Revelation. Ooh, let's stay out of Revelation. We're going to read something in Revelation today, okay? This is Revelations 19. Revelation 19. And let's see. I'm gonna start reading at verse 11. And it reads, look, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doeth judge and make war. Just that, keep talking about that war. Okay, look, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. I wonder why the Lord's vesture was dipped in blood. When we read over there in Isaiah about the slain of the Lord shall be many, he come back doing some killing. That's why his vesture is dipped in blood, all right? And his name is called the Word of God. Who is the Word of God? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It's Jesus we talking about here. Look, and his armies, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he shall and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. Ooh. And he has on his vesture and on his right on his thigh a name written King of Kings and Lord of Lords. This is Jesus we talking about here, people. Coming back doing some warring. Okay. So keep that in mind, man, because that's why you wanna get on the Lord's good side. If you ain't on it now, you better get there. 'Cause this thing is almost over with, okay? We ain't got long left. I guess you can probably see that for yourself, though. A lot of them people think, oh, this thing gonna go on and on and on. No, it's not neither. Lord only gave man 6,000 years. Repeat it every day. One year to God, one day to God is 1,000 years, okay? And it gave us 6 days, which is 6,000 years. Get this thing right. What do we do on the seventh day? Day of rest, right? That's what it's going to be after this 6,000. And right now, we're in the latter part of that 6,000th year. Okay. We are close. All right. Very close. Well, let's go over here to Psalms right quick. Let's go to Psalms, 110th chapter of Psalms. And I'm going to start reading at verse 1. And it reads, look. The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. The Lord shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies. Okay, verse 5. The Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. Okay. He shall judge among the heathen, the nations, right? He shall fill the places with the dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries. Told you, boy, they come back in there patting nobody on the head. He come in and wounding some heads. You hear me? So, hey, get on the Lord's good side, people, while there's still time. Okay? But let's go back to Revelations right quick. I want to show you this. Let's see. This is Revelations the sixth chapter. Revelation 6. And I'm gonna start reading at verse 14. Okay, and it reads, look, and the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and every island were moved out of their places, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne. Ooh, and from the wrath of the Lamb. That was scared. He looked up and saw that heaven rolled open, man. And look, they said, oh boy, this thing is for real. Okay? Look, verse 17, look, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Ask yourself that question. Where you at with the Lord? Are you keeping his commandments? You doing what he say? Keeping that dietary law? Okay. But let's go back to Isaiah right quick. Let me see, we're going to Isaiah 34. Isaiah 34. And I'm gonna start reading at verse 1. And it reads, look, come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. He's talking to everybody. Okay. Verse 2. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He has utterly destroyed them. He has delivered them to the slaughter. This is future. He talking here, babe. I'm sorry, people. Okay. Verse 3, look, their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. Ooh. When we read on Revelation about the Lord's vessel was dipped in blood, man, I'm talking about all that killing. Okay, verse 4, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. When we read that in Revelation, look, and all thy hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a fallen fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Mm. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. Woo, it is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of the kidneys of rams. You think the Lord talking about literal lambs and goats and rams and stuff? He talking about people. Okay, that's what he talking about. For the Lord has a sacrifice in Bozrah and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Woo. And the unicorns shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood. Ooh, and their dust made fat with fatness. Whew. Tell you people, this God don't play, man. He mean business. But man, this man done messed up so bad, and he won't get his act together. Therefore, the Lord gonna have to come back here and take this earth down and run it himself. And he said he gonna rule it with the rod of iron. He gonna do what the Lord say then. All right. But let's go further here. Let's go to Matthews. I'm gonna show you when this gonna happen. We're gonna take a quick look at it. All right. And we are right at the doorstep. But look at this. This is Matthews 24, and we'll start reading at verse 29, and it reads. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened. So now we're talking right after them 3.5 years of great tribulation, right? Look, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Hmm. So the Lord is coming right after that great tribulation, and he ain't rapturing nobody up off here before that, okay? All right. The best you can do is meet the Lord in the air if you be so blessed to make that first resurrection, come back to fight with him. Okay. Look, let's see, y'all. Verse 36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. Only the Father know the day, hour that the Lord is going to come. All right. But as the day of Noah was, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and married and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. You think we ain't back to that time right now? The Lord said, He said, man, the thoughts of man is evil continually. What do you think we got now? Same old thing, man. People always trying to cheat somebody, lying on somebody, committing adultery, killing, stealing. Man, look, phew, just like it was in the day of Noah. Man's thought is evil continually. That you know, He said, so shall the Son of Man be. He's going to be coming soon. All right, so get on the Lord's good side, people. Okay. Now, let me go show you something right quick. Let's go take a quick look at something that Brother Habakkuk said, man, because this thing scared the Lord. It projected his mind into the future and showed him this thing, man. This cat was so scared, man. Let me show you what he did here. Let me show you. Yeah, if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Habakkuk 3, I think. Yeah, Habakkuk 3rd chapter. And I'm going to start reading at verse 2. And it reads, look, O Lord, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. This is Habakkuk talking here. Look, O Lord, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known. In wrath, remember mercy. He said, Lord, whew. He said, when you come with your wrath, remember some mercy. Okay. Man, I'm gonna tell you, man, Lord coming back, He ain't gonna be playing no games, people. Verse 11, look, the sun and the moon stood in their habitations. At the light of thine arrows they went, and at the shining of thy glittering spear. Thou did march through the land in indignation. Thou didst thrust through the heathens in anger. He's thrust through the nations with anger, people. Okay? But look, let me show you what Habakkuk said right here. Look, this is verse 16. He said, when I heard, my belly trembled. No, he was scared. My lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered into my bones, and I tremble in myself that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he cometh up unto the people, he will invade them with his troops. Man, that thing scared the beggar so bad. He said, I hope I'm dead when this happened. Because he said this, he said that I might rest in that day of trouble. That means he won't be dead in that grave, okay? But let's go a little bit further here. Let's go back to Isaiah right quick. Just one thing I want to show you here in Isaiah. This is Isaiah 2, and I'm gonna tell you something. You say, well, you think that's gonna be the end of all wars? Let's see. Take a quick look at it. Look right here. This is Isaiah the 2nd chapter. And I'm gonna start reading at verse let's see, verse 2. And it reads, look, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. This is future, okay? And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways. That happening now? No. Okay, this is future, all right? And we will walk in his paths, for out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Okay, and he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks, and nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. See that? So this man, after the Lord bring his war upon this earth, look, this man ain't even gonna have a stomach to want to fight anymore. Okay. So this is gonna be the end of all war when the Lord come, wreak havoc upon this earth. But let's go to one last place right quick, because after all of that, man, I want to give you a little hope. Okay, just a little bit of hope. But I'm gonna read this. This is Revelation 22. I'm gonna start reading at verse 12. And it reads, look, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. And I'm say, verse 13, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed, listen to this, blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. Okay? So if you do this thing right, start keeping Lord's commandments, laws and statutes, and that dietary law. Okay, all that the Lord say we will do. You do that, hey, you get to walk through the gates into that holy city, people. And you can avoid all this destruction that the Lord's going to bring. Okay? So, with that food for thought, think on these scriptures and words throughout the course of the day. And until next time, peace.